The Global Sumud Flotilla, a fleet sailing with a message of peace, now entering Gaza's most dangerous waters. Every second counts. Will they succeed in their mission, or will history witness another tragic chapter? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we bring you a story that is unfolding on the seas, one that has captured the attention of the entire world. The Global Sumud Flotilla is not just a convoy of ships, it is a movement, a declaration of solidarity with the people of Gaza. These ships are filled with activists, humanitarian workers, doctors, and ordinary citizens who share a common goal to deliver aid, break the blockade, and shine a light on the ongoing crisis. The journey of this flotilla is unlike any other. It sails through waters where danger lurks in every direction. The Israeli Navy patrols these seas, enforcing a blockade that has been criticized by human rights organizations for years. Entering Gaza's danger zone is not only a physical risk but also a political statement. Every mile closer brings tension, every wave carries uncertainty. But what makes this story powerful is not just the risk. It is the courage of those on board. They know the history. They know what happened to flotillas before them, and yet they move forward. For them, turning back is not an option. Their mission is larger than themselves. It represents the voices of millions who demand freedom, dignity, and hope for Gaza. Today, we will walk you through this tense journey, section by section, exploring the motives, the risks, the international response, and the question the world is asking: what will happen when the flotilla reaches Gaza's danger zone? The Global Sumud Flotilla began its voyage with one clear message: humanity cannot remain silent. The name, Sumud itself, carries deep meaning. It translates to steadfastness in Arabic, symbolizing resistance and perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds. From the very beginning, the organizers wanted this flotilla to be more than just ships carrying aid. They wanted it to be a global symbol of resilience. On board are individuals from more than 20 different countries. Some are seasoned activists who have sailed on previous flotillas. Others are young volunteers experiencing this struggle for the very first time. Doctors carry essential medical supplies, engineers transport water purification equipment, and teachers bring books for children who have been cut off from the world. Each person on board carries not just supplies but also stories, determination, and the belief that small acts of courage can change the course of history. As the flotilla sailed out of international waters, the atmosphere was filled with a mix of hope and fear. Flags of different nations waved together, united by a single cause. Speeches were made, songs were sung, and prayers were whispered. Yet, beneath the unity lay a constant awareness. The closer they drew to Gaza, the greater the risk of confrontation. Every participant knew the dangers. They had signed papers acknowledging the risks, received training on nonviolent resistance, and prepared themselves mentally for possible detention or even violence. Still, no one turned back. That determination became the fuel of the flotilla, pushing it steadily toward the danger zone. To understand the gravity of this voyage, we must look at history. This is not the first time a flotilla has tried to break the blockade on Gaza. In 2010, the Freedom Flotilla, carrying activists and aid, was intercepted by the Israeli Navy. That incident turned deadly when commandos stormed the ships, leading to violent clashes and the loss of several lives. The images of bloodied decks and frightened activists shocked the world and sparked international outrage. Since then, multiple flotillas have attempted the journey, each one facing heavy resistance. Some were diverted, others detained, and in many cases, the ships were seized before they could reach Gaza. Yet the attempts never stopped, because each flotilla represented a challenge to the blockade itself, a blockade that international organizations have called illegal under humanitarian law. For the activists on the Global Sumud Flotilla, the history of past flotillas is not a deterrent but a reminder. They carry the memory of those who were killed, wounded, or imprisoned. Many of the veterans on board today were present during earlier attempts, and they see themselves as continuing a legacy. To them, every journey, even if it fails to deliver aid, is a victory in raising awareness. That's what makes this mission so critical. It's not just about aid, it's about making sure the world cannot look away. With every nautical mile, the flotilla is writing the next chapter in this ongoing struggle. A chapter that could be hopeful, tragic, or both. As the Global Sumud Flotilla approaches Gaza's maritime boundaries, tension grows. The danger zone is not an imaginary line, it is a heavily monitored stretch of water where every move is tracked by advanced radar and surveillance drones. Israeli warships often patrol these waters, ready to intercept any vessel that dares to cross into Gaza's restricted area. For the activists on board, this is the point of no return. The atmosphere on the ships shifts. Conversations that were once filled with excitement and song are now quieter, more reflective. Some activists gather in prayer circles, others sit silently staring at the horizon. The crew makes final checks on communication systems, cameras, and livestream equipment. Because if an interception occurs, the world must witness it in real time. Organizers know the risks. They could be detained, deported, or even face physical violence. Yet, they also know that their very presence in these waters is a statement against silence. The closer they get, the stronger their message becomes. International observers and journalists traveling with the flotilla prepare their reports. They document every move, every approaching shadow on the radar, every new wave that rocks the ship. This is not only a humanitarian act, it is a battle of narratives. The flotilla's goal is to show that despite overwhelming military power, ordinary people from around the world are willing to risk everything to stand in solidarity with Gaza. And now, they sail deeper into the waters where history has often turned bloody. The Israeli response is a looming shadow over the mission. Government officials have repeatedly stated that no ship will be allowed to break the blockade. To them, the flotilla represents not just humanitarian aid but also political provocation. The Israeli Navy has orders to prevent the ships from reaching Gaza, using methods ranging from radio warnings to direct boarding operations. In past incidents, activists have described chilling moments when Israeli warships surrounded their vessels, demanding immediate retreat. Some complied while others resisted through peaceful defiance. The Global Sumud Flotilla prepares for the same. They train for nonviolent resistance, linking arms, refusing to move, documenting everything with cameras. They know they cannot match military force with force. Their power lies in visibility, in exposing injustice to the eyes of the world. Diplomatic efforts have also been underway. Governments and international organizations have issued warnings, urging restraint from all sides. The United Nations has highlighted the potential for escalation, while human rights groups call for the flotilla's safe passage. Yet, despite appeals, the decision ultimately rests with those patrolling the waters. The activists are not naive. They expect confrontation. But they also believe that each second they hold out, each mile they advance, forces the world to pay attention. For them, the risk of arrest or injury pales compared to the suffering faced daily by Gaza'S under blockade. The question is not whether Israel will respond. It is how and how far they are willing to go to enforce their control over Gaza's seas. Meanwhile, the people of Gaza wait anxiously. News of the flotilla has spread quickly through the enclave. Families gather around radios, televisions, and mobile phones, searching for updates on whether the ships will make it through. For them, the flotilla is not just about aid, it is about recognition. It is proof that the world has not forgotten them. In Gaza's hospitals, doctors hope for much-needed medical supplies that could save lives. In schools, teachers tell students that international friends are sailing across the sea just for them. Children draw pictures of ships with bright flags, symbols of hope in a place where hope often feels distant. The blockade has been described by the United Nations as collective punishment. For Gaza'S, it means shortages of medicine, clean water, electricity, and basic necessities. The arrival of the Global Sumud Flotilla, even if temporary, breaks through the feeling of isolation. Every kilometer the flotilla sails closer brings a wave of anticipation in Gaza's streets. But alongside hope lies fear. Gaza'S remember the tragedies of past flotillas. They know the risks the activists face and the likelihood of confrontation. Mothers pray for peace, while fathers worry that violence will once again shatter fragile dreams. Still, the mere fact that people from different continents risk their lives for Gaza gives strength. To them, the flotilla is a lifeline not only of aid but also of dignity, a reminder that even in the darkest times, solidarity can sail across the seas. The international media is watching closely. News outlets across Europe, the Middle East, and North America provide live updates. Hashtags related to the flotilla trend on social media platforms, where activists share messages of support and eyewitness videos. The digital world becomes a battlefield of narratives. Supporters post emotional appeals. Let them pass. Humanity first. The blockade. Meanwhile, opposing voices frame the flotilla as a political stunt, accusing organizers of seeking confrontation rather than peace. This clash of perspectives highlights how deeply divided the international community remains over Gaza. Diplomatic pressure mounts. Some governments demand that Israel allow safe passage, while others quietly support the blockade. In parliaments, Debates rage over whether the flotilla is humanitarian or provocative. The activists on board watch these developments with mixed feelings. On one hand, global attention strengthens their cause. On the other, it reminds them of the enormous weight their mission carries. Journalists on board stream interviews with passengers. A young volunteer from Spain describes how she left her family behind, knowing she might be arrested. A doctor from South Africa explains why he believes breaking the blockade is a moral duty. Their voices, raw and emotional, bring humanity to the headlines. For millions around the world, the flotilla becomes more than a news story. It becomes a symbol of courage, defiance, and the eternal struggle between might and right. And as the ships edge closer to the danger zone, the question grows louder: what will happen when confrontation is inevitable? As night falls over the Mediterranean, the atmosphere turns heavy. The sea grows darker, and so does the uncertainty. Lights from distant ships appear on the horizon, and whispers spread among the passengers: are they being followed? The hum of drones overhead confirms what everyone already knows. They are being watched. The organizers instruct everyone to remain calm. They gather the passengers for one final briefing. Stay together. Do not resist violently. Document everything. The words echo through the decks like a mantra. Cameras are distributed, live streams are tested, and social media accounts are readied to broadcast any encounter. Some activists sit in silent prayer, clutching rosaries or kerns. Others write letters to their families, fearing they may not return. A few cannot sleep, pacing the deck as the waves crash against the hull. The reality of what lies ahead weighs heavily. For many, this night feels endless. The sea is not just water, it is a stage where human determination will soon collide with military force. The silence is broken occasionally by nervous laughter or whispered reassurances. "Why, we'll be fine," one activist tells another, though her eyes betray her fear. The world outside waits too. Social media platforms buzz with speculation. News tickers flash updates. Flotilla nearing Gaza''s danger zone. The stage is set. Somewhere beyond the dark horizon, the Israeli Navy is waiting. And as dawn approaches, so too does the moment of truth at sunrise. The confrontation begins. Radio messages crackle across the speakers. "You are entering restricted waters. Change course immediately." The activists listen in silence, their hearts pounding. The organizers respond calmly, declaring that their mission is peaceful and humanitarian, bound for Gaza. Minutes later, Israeli naval vessels appear on the horizon. They approach swiftly, their presence overwhelming compared to the small humanitarian ships. The activists gather on deck, linking arms as planned. Cameras roll, live streams broadcast to the world. "We are unarmed. We carry aid. Do not attack," they shout into the sea air. The Israeli Navy issues repeated warnings. The flotilla refuses to turn back. The tension is unbearable, every second stretched into eternity. Warships draw closer, their loudspeakers echoing commands. Then smaller boats carrying armed soldiers move in, preparing to board. For those on deck, the moment feels surreal. Years of planning, weeks of sailing, and endless hours of fear have led to this single confrontation. Some activists cry silently, others shout slogans of resistance. Yet none raise a hand in violence. What happens next will determine not only the fate of the Global Sumud Flotilla, but also the narrative of this mission in history. Will the encounter end in detention, violence, or safe passage? The world watches live, as the story of courage and confrontation unfolds on the waves of the Mediterranean. The confrontation reaches its climax. Soldiers board the ships, shouting orders, pushing activists aside, demanding surrender. The activists remain seated, hands raised, chanting, "Why are peaceful? We are unarmed." Cameras capture every second, broadcasting images across the globe. The chaos is both tense and restrained. Some activists are dragged away, others handcuffed. Medical supplies are inspected, aid crates are seized. Yet the passengers resist without violence, embodying the principle of nonviolent defiance they had trained for. The outcome, however, remains uncertain. Will the world condemn the interception? Will governments demand the release of the flotilla? Or will the ships be silenced, their mission cut short before reaching Gaza? What cannot be silenced is the message. The Global Sumud Flotilla, whether it physically reaches Gaza or not, has already broken through barriers. It has reminded the world of Gaza's plight, forced conversations in parliaments and living rooms, and shown that solidarity can cross seas. As the sun rises higher, the flotilla's fate lies in the hands of power, but its spirit lies with the people. From Gaza's children to activists worldwide, the message is clear: courage can sail against the tide, and even in the face of overwhelming force, humanity refuses to stay silent. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss powerful stories like this. Share this video with your friends and family, because the more people know, the louder the call for justice becomes.